So news just came out yesterday in the case of SEC versus Ripple that looks like it's going to put a damper on settlement talks that a lot of people were talking about could happen as early as next month. So I'm going to talk about what both parties just did that looks like it's going to squash it. And recently there was a new survey that just came out of executive bankers from banks around the world. And it goes over some of their thoughts regarding cryptocurrencies. Some of them are really interesting. In fact, this article was described as a seismic warning. So I'm going to talk about what the results of this survey actually showed. And if you've been following the price of Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto charts, recently Bitcoin just passed $50,000 the other day, and then it retraced back to as low as 47,000, about 47,700 earlier this morning. It has since climbed back to 49,000. So I'm going to talk about what that can mean, as well as a price prediction based on the supply of Bitcoin that is becoming less and less. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on this channel, we are covering cryptocurrencies, investment markets, personal finance, and of course the Ripple versus the SEC case. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so that YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And of course, I do that when there's some brand new information. And I now believe that people in the crypto community are some of the most generous people in the world. So if you're feeling generous today, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. The other thing you can do is watch this video all the way to the end. Those are the two best things that you can do to support a YouTube channel. So with that out of the way, let's jump into it. So first thing, I'm gonna talk about the price of Bitcoin, which is currently sitting at $48,783. And it's really been range trading. There's been a few pullbacks in the last couple of weeks. And some people that I've been watching on Twitter and on YouTube, some of them are doing a little bit of panic selling, or at least talking about how this really isn't the start of this bull run for the end of the year, and how they actually think that this is probably just the end of the dead cat bounce, and it's going to, well, essentially crash. Now, I don't believe that sentiment based on some of the things that I've been seeing other than simply price movements. See, here's some of the problems when we're discussing cryptocurrencies and the values. So we have technical analysis, which there are several that I watch on a daily basis that are extremely knowledgeable about technical analysis, reading charts, predicting trends, things like that. But the other side of cryptocurrencies that you have to look at, that the rest of the trading world sometimes doesn't, is you have to look at the other things like what Glassnode looks at, which is you can see the wallets, the active wallets, how many wallets hold how much Bitcoin, when that Bitcoin was bought, how much it was bought for, how long it was stored, how long it's been held, when was the last time it was traded, and so forth. You can see all the granular details of all of this, whereas in the stock market, you can't really see that. So for the past couple of months, as this consolidation of Bitcoin in the crypto market has been, well, consolidating, a lot of articles have come out and said all of the people that are buying this Bitcoin, that are consolidating this Bitcoin, they're not selling. In fact, just the other day I saw a stat that said 70% of the Bitcoin that was bought within the last 6 months is not being sold. It's not on exchanges. And so what some people are putting two and two together is saying that there is a massive liquidity crisis in Bitcoin, aka the price is going up, or a supply shortage. Which, if you're looking at the rest of the economy, sometimes when you see supply is just not there, the price goes skyrocketing. Well, the same thing can happen in Bitcoin. When there's just not enough Bitcoin that's there, but there's still buyers that want to buy in, the price is going to generally be much higher. So for a lot of people, this signals a general uptrend of not just Bitcoin, but the general crypto market. But what we're looking at right now is a $51,000 price point for Bitcoin is essentially the resistance that it's got to break through. 51 and a half, maybe even 52,000. Some of the TA guys that I watch are saying it's got to break through those levels. And if it does, then it essentially has clear sailing to about $57,000 per Bitcoin. But we also have to look at other things like news, headlines, and on-chain dynamics to see what the price of cryptos could be doing in the future. Speaking of what cryptocurrencies could do in the future, there was recently a poll, a survey that came out that was done with over 1,300 executive bankers from across the globe. They were answering things largely on cryptocurrencies and what they think the future of cryptocurrencies was. Now, after these answers came out, somebody looked at it and said, this is a seismic warning to the rest of the financial world about what institutional bankers are starting to think about the cryptosphere. The most notable was that a majority of them said that cryptocurrencies could replace fiat currencies in the next 5 to 10 years. About 76% of them felt that way. 81% of them believe that blockchain technology has already achieved mainstream adoption. I don't know if I can really agree with that in terms of being mainstream adopted. I know if you go out in public and you ask 100 people if they've heard the term Bitcoin or know what it is, there's probably a large percentage of people that know what it is. But actually having them adopt it, use it, or even invest in it is much, much smaller. Now, mainstream adoption, when you're talking about the institutional world or the financial world, I think they're on the right track. I think there is a much higher percentage of institutions, especially financial institutions, that have jumped onto the cryptocurrency train because, as this survey reveals, about 71% of them believe that if they don't go ahead and adopt cryptocurrencies into their business model, they could be losing a competitive advantage. But one of their major concerns that was cited was cybersecurity. Over 70% of them believe that cybersecurity could be the biggest barrier to mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies. So when you look at predictions such as made by resident goldbug Peter Schiff that says Bitcoin is going to zero, all cryptocurrencies are going to zero because they're not currencies, they're valueless. Well, I think he's got another thing coming if a large majority of the global financial institutions are adopting Bitcoin, are adopting blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies. And now to the Ripple versus the SEC case. There was a video, in fact, I put out a video just the other day talking about a prediction that not just BitBoy Crypto had made, but several others have been making as well, which is that the Ripple and SEC case was headed towards settlement by the middle of September. And on my video, I explained how they could be very right or they could be extremely wrong. If a settlement's going to happen, yeah, it probably would happen in the next month. If not, this could go on for a while. In fact, some people are now predicting that this case is going to go on into the first quarter of 2022. Why? Okay, so here's some information that just came out yesterday. Both parties, the SEC and Ripple, filed a document which they requested an extension of fact discovery. However, today it was clarified that that's not actually what was done. The end of fact discovery is still going to be August 31st. However, what they did was request an extended period of time because they want depositions of Ripple's executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. So who's doing this? Well, the answer is we don't know, because in the letter, they actually didn't disclose who is going to be deposing Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. We don't know if it could be Ripple to have statements on the record. We don't know if it could be the SEC hunting for new information. But in any case, what they did was extend that discovery period so they could depose the Ripple's two executives by no later than September 20th. But here's the thing. If you were looking for a settlement to happen, it's not going to happen before the two executives of the companies haven't even been deposed yet, or even right around that time frame. So in my opinion, I think if a settlement would happen, it's going to be a couple of months down the road yet. But even this thing entering trial could now be extended by another several weeks, possibly several months. So is that going to put any more downward pressure on XRP? There's a chance it might, because the more people talk about settlement, the more optimistic people were, and the more likelihood that they were to buy XRP, put money into XRP, than they would if they know that this thing's going to continue for another 2, 3, 4 months. But let me know in the comment section below what you think about this case and who's going to be deposing Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. Is the SEC doing this, or is this Ripple doing this? Now they both agreed to basically keep this private. In fact, what Jeremy Hogan, who is an outside attorney covering this case on Twitter and YouTube, largely says this is just attorneys being professional with each other on both sides. So let me know in the comment section what you think is going to happen. Probably going to be news coming out eventually. It will probably slip up who's actually deposing them and what the dates are. Because the other thing too is that there was a telephone conference that was scheduled to discuss the upcoming privilege disputes. That's actually going to be on August 31st at 12 noon. You can follow me on Twitter. I will post the details on that when that comes out. The other telephone conferences that the judge has hosted, they allowed up to 4,000 people to join on and listen. So we're going to see if they're going to be doing the same thing. I wouldn't doubt it because of the high profile of the case. So I'll put a link in the description below. You can go and visit my profile on Twitter and go follow me there. So once again, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. And if you were seeing 2 videos right here, it's because YouTube thinks that one of these 2 videos would be right up your alley. So go ahead and check out one of those videos. In the meantime, thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys on the next video.